March 4th, 2022. This meeting will now come to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, Chair. Before I call the roll, I would like to announce that members Blackwell, Brucker, Osinski, and Rodriguez have requested to be excused, and I will mark them so. Bernal,
Present.
Lynn,
Present.
McMillan,
Present.
McMonagle,
Present.
Michael,
Present.
Reamer,
Present.
Young,
Present.
Zadowitz.
Present.
8 present, 4 excused.
Due to the absence of a quorum, the Youth Council,
You have a form,
Yeah, we
have
so you
one
can skip
now.
that.
do you have an updated script?
It's updated. It's just in case you weren't here.
Okay.
So just the parts in the gray you'll skip. Okay?
All right. Next is item 4, approval of the agenda or changes to the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda? Without objection, or do we have a motion to adopt the agenda for the March 4th, 2022 meeting as presented? For now, I motion to adopt the agenda for the March 4th meeting as presented. Can I have a second? Ms. Hall.
I second that motion.
Bernal made the motion and Hall made the second. Is there any discussion? Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, Chair. Bernal,
Aye.
Lynn,
Aye.
McMillan,
Aye.
McMonagle,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye.
Reamer,
Aye.
Young,
Aye.
Zadowitz.
Aye.
All ayes, motion carried.
Chair, is your mic on?
Next is item 5, approval of minutes. The meeting minutes for the February 11, 2022 meeting were attached to your backup material and emailed to the council for review and consideration prior to the meeting. Can I have a motion to approve the regular minutes from February 11, 2022 as presented? For now, I motion to approve the meeting minutes as presented. Can I have a second? Reamer?
I second the motion.
Bernal made the motion and Reamer made the second. Is there any discussion? We will now take a voice poll vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Next on the agenda is item 6, recognitions and achievements. There are currently no recognitions and achievements. We will now move on to item agenda 7, advisor presentation. 7A, upcoming council report, advisor circulars. I will now turn the floor over to any advisors for any updates.
Chair, I don't have anything. There's a workshop coming up this Wednesday. The next regular meeting won't be till a week from Wednesday. So anything exciting coming up?
No, I think the only thing for you to be aware of is our committee of the whole meetings will now change from 3 o'clock to 9 a.m. on Wednesdays. So we voted to do that at the last meeting. So in case you tune into those, I hope that you do. We'll have a little earlier start. We'll have them for breakfast now.
Thank you. Are there any other advisor updates? Okay, seeing none, I will move on to the next agenda item, 8, citizens input. This consists of input of citizens on matters concerning city government, 3 minutes per individual. Council will listen to all speakers and respond after all speakers have made their presentation. I will now read the Pledge of Civility. We will be respectful of each other even when we disagree. We will direct all comments to the issues. We will avoid personal attacks. Citizens input is now open. Members of the public, please come forward to the podium. Please state your name clearly for the record. Are there any members of the public wishing to speak? Seeing none, citizens input is now closed.
Chair,
Sorry.
there will be.
Good afternoon. My name is Mayor John Gunter. I wanted to come today and speak with you on several different items. One of the items is how we hold ourselves accountable as a city council. We have something that we have adopted. It's been changed throughout the years by other councils. But I want to go over some of those things today with you. But before I do that, I'm sure each and every one of you are here because you want to be a future leader in some capacity, either in the private sector or the private sector in the future. So I took the opportunity today to look up what the most 7 core principles are of effective leadership. The first one is lead by example. And I know some of you have heard that I think an effective leader is someone who always leads by example and always holds the person next to them accountable to that standard that was set either by an organization similar to this one or organization like we have at council. Council, we have something called council rules or procedures. And I don't think that this youth council has anything similar to that. So my recommendation would be, moving forward, that this council have some type of a policy set, like we do here at City Council. And I'll go over some of those things once I talk about the 7 core principles. So first is lead by example. And the reason that you do that is not only for yourself, but it's the colleagues that you work with or that you sit with on the board, similar to this one. And I know that our city council, we do just that because we know that we are a collective body. We're one council. And each one of us play an important role in that council, but we hold each other accountable to a standard that we have set and an expectation that we have set. And while doing so, the next principle is clear communication, which is perhaps the greatest tool in a leader's arsenal, is the tool of communication. With that, he or she can motivate, inspire teammates, while also promoting discipline and accountability. So once you set those standards, then it's our job to make sure that not only we're accountable, but for our fellow council members as well. The next tool is embracing change. And that could be a good discussion here today if you decide to move forward to adopt a similar policy. A core principle in effective leadership is the ability to embrace change. As you know, change is not always comfortable, and it can be difficult to come to terms of whatever that change is sometimes. But effective leaders are able to see change for the good and prepare themselves and their team for whatever that change may be. The next principle is promotion of diversity. Effective leaders understand that diversity encourages innovation and creativity. They understand that uniformity is boring and can stifle success. And that's why we're all here, is for success. Success for our city, success for our youth council. And by being able to be diversified, I think is extremely important. If you look at our council and the background of each council member, we're a very diverse group. But I welcome that because we have different views, and we have different opinions, we have different life experiences. And with that, I think we can come up with a better solution to any problem that we are addressing. So I think promoting diversity among the board is extremely important. Have values such as hard work, discipline, integrity, or just some of the fundamental values that we need to have in any organization. Doesn't matter if it's public or private. Effective leaders not only have these values, but try to promote them with one another. So if we have an individual that maybe isn't up to par or to the expectation that we set as a board, then we try to help them to make sure that they get to that expectation. Believe in teamwork. As we all know, you can accomplish so much more as you can as a team than you do as an individual. There's no I in team. Even though I'm the mayor, it's a team effort when we sit in those chairs that you're sitting in today. It's a collective body. We work together for the good. And if we happen to make a bad decision, and we have to go back and revisit that decision, we do that as a collective body. So I think it's very important to have teamwork amongst each other moving forward. You'll only be stronger as a collective body that way. Continuous learning. I'll be almost 60 years old, and I can tell you, I learn something new every day. And I have over the 60 years. And you will too. And you may not realize it now, but I can honestly say every day I learned something today that I didn't know yesterday. So continuous learning is a good, effective leader, to have an open mind. And I think that's extremely important. And the reason I wanted to bring up those 7 principles is because they're not only for you, but they're for the person sitting next to you as well. And I've heard that in speaking with Councilmember Hayden, one of the problems that this board is having is attendance. And that's why I'm here today. You have a responsibility not only to yourself, but for the other people on this board. Just like I did, I took an oath back in 2017 when I was elected. I took an oath in January of this year when I was appointed the mayor. And that oath meant many things to me, not just the words that I stated in that oath. That oath meant that I was going to be dedicated in my position. I was going to attend all of the meetings. I was going to make sure I was prepared for those meetings. I was going to read the agenda. And I was going to have an opinion when I showed up to sit in the chairs that you're sitting in. And those opinions sometimes may not be the same opinions of my colleagues. And that's okay, because I was afforded the opportunity when I was elected to have an opinion and a voice. Just like you have sitting there, you've been appointed, just like I was appointed mayor, to sit in those chairs. You not only have a responsibility to yourself, to this board, to the people that you represent. You are representing the youth of our city. So you can't take that lightly. And I will tell you that I have been here since 2017. I've never missed a meeting. There were 2 meetings that I was away for business for the city that I participated in a Zoom meeting, but I've been to every single meeting since 2017. And that is my commitment to my constituents that I represent. Just like you represent the youth of our city, you have an obligation to the youth to make sure that you're here, to make sure that they are being represented. That's why you're here. You're representing them. And that's why I take it seriously and make sure that I'm here when I need to be. Sure, there's plenty of times that I arrange my family vacation. I arrange my schedule because I know the commitment that I made to my community was that I was going to participate in the meeting and have a voice and an opinion. And that's what the same responsibility you need to take while you're sitting here and you're being appointed to that board. Now, I tell people all the time, a lot of people say, well, I never want to do what you're doing. And that's okay. Not everybody can sit in those chairs because it is a commitment. It is you're dedicating your time, not only for yourself, your constituents, and your fellow board members. So when you don't show up for a meeting, you're not only letting yourself down, you're letting the board down. And you have some individuals here that are volunteering their time. You have Mr. Mazurkowitz, he doesn't have to be here. He does it because he wants to. Because he wants to make sure that he helps the future leaders of our city. I know that's why he's here. He hasn't told me that, but I know why he's here. Same thing with Councilmember Hayden. It's not in his job description. He didn't have to step up to the plate. He did that for you. So if you don't show up for your meetings, what does that say to them? So we have to make sure that we take this seriously. We must be responsible, not only for the people that you're actually representing, but for the people that are here. For your success, they want you to be successful. And they're willing to give their time to be so you're successful. So you have to make sure that you're doing your end of the deal too. You know, I tell my son's a senior in college. And I know that's why some of you are here, because this is going to be very good to put on your resume when you apply for colleges. But I just want to remind you, this is a public meeting. So when you're applying for those colleges, or maybe that job 10 years from now, and you put this down on your resume, those companies or the colleges, they can look back. They can see what your attendance records were, how committed you were, how dedicated you were. They knew that you kind of stepped up to the plate, but when they reviewed the attendance records, that could either help you or that could hurt you. So the reason I wanted to stop by today is to make sure that you are committed and that you're dedicated for yourself, for the people that you're representing, and the team that you've established here. I think this is a great organization. You know, this was Councilmember Williams' idea many years ago. And I think you have a golden opportunity to participate in it. But you have to be able to recognize that also. So I want to thank you for stepping up to the plate, for sitting in those chairs. But I just want you to understand that there's a responsibility that comes along with sitting in those chairs. And I just want to make sure that this board is represented by each and every individual, and that you are as successful as possible. And by doing that, the first thing that comes to mind is you have to attend the meetings to be successful. So thank you. I appreciate what you do.
Thank you, Mayor Guthrie. Is there any member discussion? On behalf of everyone, I just wanted to thank you again. I think that what you said can really be taken into account to each and every one of us. And I think that if all of us work together to implement that and honestly keep each other accountable for that and hold that responsibility individually, I think that we can accomplish great things together, guys.
Yeah, thank you. And I'd recommend Councilmember Hayden to maybe give you a copy of our council rules of procedure to show you how we hold ourselves accountable and the expectation that we set on ourselves. And I think that may help this board, not only this board, but future boards, students who come here in the future. So I think maybe Councilmember Hayden can make sure he provides that for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Is there any other member discussion? Seeing none, we will move on to agenda item 9, recommendations to council. Today I wanted to discuss a required memorandum to the city council. Each even-numbered year, city council shall conduct an annual review of the benefits derived from the continued existence of the youth council. Are there any objections to me, as chair, working with staff to complete the memorandum on behalf of the youth council by April 1st? Seeing none, I move that. Is it a motion or
No.
no? Just without
If
objection.
without objection, you could fill out the application, fill out the memo.
Cool. All right, without objection, I will do so. Next is business item 10A, annual project spring gala continued discussion. Before I open the floor up to any member discussion, I wanted to recap. I had previously, as we discussed in the previous meeting, sent out a text message, which is what we agreed on would be the easiest way to remind you all and communicate. So I sent out a text message in a youth council group chat about some responsibilities that we had discussed last meeting. I reminded you all, and I did put in there that I expect that we all were working on that, as you committed yourself to that by volunteering. So some of the things I wanted to touch on that are really important is that we don't have any art submissions yet. So I know that Member Reamer was in charge. I just wanted to get a quick update from you. Have you sent out an email yet?
Yes, I've sent emails to every school and every teacher and art teacher available, and I do have a question on how we're going to collect our spring gala art, because I know we're going to need the physical art. So I just wondering how we're going to get the art here, or if there's a certain deadline that we're going to have, and then transport it to the gala area.
So I believe that for right now, we're just taking the submissions through our email. That goes for the physical art pieces. Just for future reference, any band required or dance performance can be sent through a YouTube link, and then the link can be emailed to us as well. That's going to be the easiest way for all of us to view and collect the artwork for now. And then once it gets closer to the gala, I believe we'll be collecting the physical pieces, but we haven't quite decided on how we're doing that yet. So I will look to the advisors for a suggestion on what's the best way.
Thank you, Chair Young. What I would suggest at this point, obviously, just give them my point of contact. As the date gets closer, I will make physical arrangements with them, because depending on how fragile or how, they may want to deliver it themselves and pick it up. So I don't want to make any recommendations till we actually see what it is, and I would speak personally to the person dropping it off, and we'll make arrangements with them directly.
Thank you, Ms. Graber. My next update would be for I'm going to go with member for now. The band and choir update, do you have any update about if you've emailed them or any submissions you may have?
I as well reached out to all the band and choir directors, and I haven't received any comments back, but I did kind of direct them to Ms. Grapeland's direction, so I'm not sure how much responses I would receive personally, other than just thank you, I guess. But I sent them the point of contact information, all the background information on what our project is about, Spring Gala, what it is, and a poster for Spring Gala and the call to artists. And so all of that information is now out to all the different choir band directors. And I personally have a meeting with my own band director just so I can physically hand her things. So that's where we kind of are right now. I haven't personally received any submissions, but I did tell them to go to Ms. Grapeland.
Perfect. So thank you so much. The next update I would like is from member Lynn. You volunteered last time to be in charge of reaching out to our DJ. Do you have an update on that?
Yes, so I contacted Peter, our DJ, and he said yes, he will be available on the day of our spring gala. And the price will be the same as last year, which is $750. And I believe he has sent Ms. Goodwin the contract. And yeah.
Awesome. Ms. Goodwin, do you have confirmation of that?
I have not received it yet, but yes, Peter had reached out to me actually before Member Lynn did, so yes, I will follow up with him, but we have him in the books and everything, so we're good on that end, yes.
Okay, thank you. Just for record, so that way when Member Rodriguez and Member Brucker look back on the video, they know, I will need an update in the future on a caterer and the culinary programs.
Chair
yes.
Young, Chair Young.
Mhm.
So in regards to member Brooker, he actually reached out to myself as well as the city clerk. He does not have any additional information at this point in time to provide to us. He's reached out to his school, Oasis. They will get back to him. Cape Coral, I know he was having an issue trying to get a hold of somebody. I had reached out to the other 2 members that were from Cape Coral High School. I'm not sure if you were able to provide any other details.
I sent him the email of the teacher. Just when you go on our school's website, it doesn't say culinary teacher next
Okay.
to it. It's something different. So I made sure to send him the email.
Okay, perfect. But as of today, he doesn't have any additional updates. In regards to the caterers, I had reached out to member Rodriguez. He had sent me paperwork from the Paradise Deli, but unfortunately there was no additional information he could provide me at that time as to per person. So to be truthfully honest with you, we are like 5 weeks away from the gala. And I am getting very stressed out that we don't have a caterer. So to be truthfully honest with you, I think we're taking another route as long as everyone agrees. I am currently working with a lady from 2 Meatballs in a Kitchen. I was hoping to have a little better information to give you today, but I do not. So if you guys agree upon going ahead and choose that, as soon as I have pricing and availability and at least what we can choose from, I will send out that email so at least maybe we can choose food-wise what we're going to get. But I really think at this point in time in the game, we cannot wait another week or 2. We need to choose a caterer because they also are going to have to staff for it as well. So the only option we have on the table right now is 2 Meatballs in a Kitchen. It does sound like, honestly, they are going to give us a very good deal. With me saying that is actually Councilmember Hayden's wife, Joanne Hayden. She currently does the mayor scholarships, which you guys know. She was here to speak to you. And they have given her a good deal. So she was kind enough to send me that information. So knowing that they have given her a good deal, I'm sure that same deal will fall back upon us as well. So if you guys can go ahead and agree upon that tonight and allow me to continue with that, I honestly think that's going to be our best route, and I would feel much more comfortable saying that we have a caterer to feed.
I completely agree. Thank you for reaching out to them, by the way. I do appreciate it. Personally, I think that's a fantastic option. To move forward with that, can I take a voice poll vote? Or
Just without objection.
Yep.
Okay.
It's only administrative. Yeah, because you have a budget for it's a budgeted item in your gala, so it's just administrative. Administrative assistant group, the authority to go ahead and consummate the deal with the caterer without objection. That would be fine.
Okay. So without objection, we will put Ms. Strickland in charge of contact with 2 Meatballs in the Kitchen. Okay, so moved. Alrighty. The other point that I wrote down that was of concern to me was that we didn't have music, which was something that Ms. Strickland had brought up to me. Now that we have the DJ figured out, I think that kind of handles a good portion of it. But I don't want anything to be overshadowed with performances because intertwined is our whole theme. We really want to focus on the student performances. So please keep communicating with whoever you can. Anybody you know interested, somebody who sings, somebody who plays an instrument, tell them to submit because you never know. They might want to and it could be a good opportunity for them. Keep in mind there's going to be a lot of people there. It's a good opportunity not just to meet people, but for networking, and maybe there's some good opportunities there for them. The other thing that I wanted to bring up was that March 1st was our previous deadline for the art submissions. So we will need to choose a new deadline. So I'm thinking that since the gala is in the beginning of April, we choose, I would say, let me check my calendar real quick, sorry. Alright, so the gala is April 3rd, and then I think if we chose a date around March 20th or March 20th exactly. That would give us about 2 weeks to gather everything physically. Does everybody agree with that? Okay with that? All right. Can I have a motion to approve March 20th as the art submission date for the spring gala for now?
I motion to approve March 20th as the date for the spring gala art
Can I have a
submission.
second? Zadowitz?
I second that motion.
Renata made the motion and Zadowitz made the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Awesome. Thank you guys. I will now open the floor up for any other member updates. Member McMillan?
So as we had talked about last meeting, I wanted to bring it up one more time again before I end up printing out an advertisement with our paper, but I ended up doing a edition this past week, very last minute. So I did put together the advertisement for us. It detailed the gala and the fact that our students can submit pieces to the gala, and then it also had our cleanup. So it showed all of the stuff that we were kind of working on. So that has been printed, and it's probably the most picked up thing that I've done this year. Every class I've gone to, I haven't seen a single one, just because we talked about some changes in the school district, so people were really interested in it. So they've been spread out everywhere, I can assure you of that. And I also think that the art teacher likes to use the papers for projects, so hopefully the kids will see it there too. But they also should have access to it in their classes as well. So that has been printed, and there's no like time as to like when we owe them money or anything like that, but it's either $30 or 4 reams of paper. And they should,
4?
I think it's 4 that comes out to $30.
Okay.
I
If you want to just confirm that,
Yeah.
once you confirm that, just send me an email, and then I'll have that email and I'll go ahead and purchase it, and it'll just come out of the budget. So we can handle that. Just let me know how many they actually used.
All right.
Perfect.
And then for sponsorships, I talked to every single one that confirmed money, and I told them where to drop off the money. Has anyone done that yet?
Okay, so I'm glad you actually bring that up. So as of today, I do have sponsorships from the following people. Councilmember Gloria Tate was at 300. The local painters union and trades was at 500. We had a new addition this year. They're called Affordable Pavers of Southwest Florida. And if I can interject in there, that is actually Chair Young's grandmother. She has kindly donated us $300. So as of today, we're at $1,100 in donations.
And so we should also be waiting on the Gunberg Foundation.
Correct.
She has all the information and she responded, so I know that she at least has it and is aware of it. So she should be getting
Yep,
that.
and completely agree with you. I just wanted to let you guys know what I physically have in my hand today, so you guys know. But yes, by all means, I know she's good for it. It's just a matter of catching up with her.
So
You're gonna send invoices for those of us who, for sponsorship, or just want us to give you a check?
If you need an
I
invoice,
don't need it, I didn't know if you were gonna do it or not.
no.
The thing about it, did you look to see what it was last year for me?
Yes.
How much, what was it? It wasn't 5,000.
It was take a zero off 500.
It was 500, all right, well then I'll do that. 5,000.
You just put the dot in the wrong place.
Yeah, it's it.
Yeah, you're always a big help.
So are
Okay.
we going to need more sponsorships? Should I work on continuing to try to contact the people that have not come back to me, or?
Well, what I would suggest, obviously, once again, it's not a matter of what you guys are paying out, but it's a matter of your legacy that you're giving to. So yes, by all means, if you want to continue collecting that, the more sponsorships, the more banners, the more people you get. I mean, so it's all about the networking, and really it's the end result of what you guys are trying to obtain. You're trying to obtain to, get your legacy and maybe beat last year's. And in addition to that, I also wanted to let you know that I did look on the sales, and as of this morning, we have $240 in sales. One of our kind directors was nice enough to purchase a table of 8. So once again, that link has been out now for 2 weeks, so I hope that we are blasting that. I know we're blasting it on the social media pages, but you guys on your end, because once again, where are the youths going to come from? It's going to come from where you guys are sending out among your peers. So I don't care what you need to do to get that link out, but continue to keep sending the link out.
Madam Chair, sponsorships. And I apologize because I don't remember. Did we contact LCEC? Because didn't they?
I believe I gave you a point of contact for LCC.
You might have.
Karen.
Karen Ryan?
Yep.
She's going to need a synopsis of what you want and an invoice.
Okay, and I can certainly create that if that's what she needs. So
That's what they need. Because they have a committee too.
okay.
I will get
So yeah.
Because they have contributed to everyone prior to this point.
And not particularly our galas, but they are the ones who actually pay for the shirts every
Didn't
year.
they? Who covered the food last year? It was LCEC. $1,100 some dollars.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe you're right.
It could be. Anyway, that would be a good one. So.
But yeah, I know she's got Karen's number because I had given it to her originally.
All right. So that's a good one to follow up with because they're anybody who is.
Yes, you are right. You are right.
It's-
I stand corrected.
Mind is a wonderful thing.
So yes, please reach out to Karen again because they were very kind enough to. He's absolutely right. They paid our entire catering bill last year. All she needed was the invoice. So please reach out to her.
Thank you, Ms. Grigland and Member McMillan for the update. As a personal update, I'm currently working on formatting the official and formal email. That's going to be an invite to the council directors and city managers. I'm almost done with it. I'm just working on some, I would say, finishing touches. So that will be sent out very shortly, just so everybody knows. And is there any other member update or anything, Ms. Grigland?
We'll go ahead with yours and then.
I'm sorry. So previously in the past, I talked about my involvement with the Florida Association of Student Councils. One of the things we're responsible this year for is just a skit. It has to be Alice in Wonderland. Not exactly my point, but we're making a prop for the skit. And it's going to be a tree. We're talking about ecology, so one side is going to be on a little bit of a lazy Susan, and one side is going to look a little withered and not taken care of. The other side is going to look beautiful and blossoming. And I was thinking we could probably use the blossoming and beautiful side if you guys, it's not completely finished, otherwise I would have sent a picture to Ms. Grigland. But we're working on that, and that's going to be done by late March, because that's when our conference is. But I was wondering if perhaps when we finish it, if I could send a picture to you just for consideration for perhaps an additional decoration, just because I know that anything will help, and I love the theme, so I think that would fit rather well.
Absolutely. I don't see why there would be a problem with it. I think if it fits our theme, then we can definitely utilize it somewhere. Like I've stated before, the space at the Lake County Center is actually really big. It's a lot. So take that into account. Like I've said before, I'm planning on bringing like a greenery wall. But if you guys have any sort of greenery or like Member Bernard has said, any type of tree decoration, I'm sure we can utilize it somehow, somewhere in the space. Ms. Grigson?
Okay, thank you, Chair. The last update that I wanted to give you guys is in regards to the birdhouse project. So once again, it is scheduled at Lake Kennedy Center Friday, March 18th. I have purchased and assembled all of the 24 birdhouses, and Ms. Park has them in her possession. So she is choosing a date where her and the special populations are going to at least do the first base coat on it, so that it soaks up the most paint at that particular point in time. If you guys are in agreement, an idea that I had is once those birdhouses obviously are decorated, and however, since we were going to use them as centerpieces, as part of that night's raffle, we can actually put numbers on the table, and each number will have a bucket, and we can raffle those birdhouses off at the end of the night. And obviously, once again, whatever we collect from there, you guys can decide, do you want to keep that with blessings in a backpack? Do you want to use that raffle maybe towards the Love Wax project? Something we don't need to decide now, but just an idea of something that you can use it towards. Now, I did give everybody the sign-off sheet. As of right now, I only have 4 members attending, and I have 4 members that have not responded to my invite. So I need to let Miss Parks know so she knows how to set up the room that day. Yes.
I just wanted to call myself out. I don't think I responded to either of the invites, but I had a question. I know in the previous meeting we had discussed only responding to which invite we were going to attend. Do you still want us to decline the one that we...
Absolutely.
Okay.
If you're not going to it, decline, but you're referring to the 12th,
Yes.
where we had two different activities going on that day. But absolutely, the only way I know who's attending or not attending is if you go out there and accept or decline those invites. Otherwise, I have to assume that you haven't seen it.
Thank you, Ms. Rubin. Is there any other member or advisor updates for the spring gala? As a final wrap-up, please continue to reach out to anybody you know who would be interested in either submitting or attending the gala. Please keep pushing out these links and posters. Honestly, any of the posters that are current on our social media, try to post them, repost them on your Instagram stories, your Snapchats. Just try to get them out there, because at the end of the day, we're the ones who are really going to be moving this along and pushing it to the people who we want to attend. We want this gala to be more of a networking opportunity. We want the older population of Cape Coral to understand and to see the youth and see them coming out to something like this, see their artwork, hear what they can do. Honestly, I just want us to really impress them, and at the end of the day, it's going to fall on us guys. So please, let's work together and get that pushed out. All right. Moving along, we have item 10B, 2022 FLC Youth Council Community Service Contest Continued Discussion. This is continued discussion from the last meeting. I will now open the floor up for any member discussion. Members Adjutant.
So it's next Saturday, March 12th, I believe, and that's definitely an SAT day for a lot of students. I'm taking the SAT as with anyone else's, so I know we're planning on meeting at the yacht club to do like a council cleanup, but I don't think a lot of other students are going to be able to go to the council cleanup, but a lot of kids will obviously be able to like submit on their own and like their street and in front of like their neighborhoods.
Absolutely. Thank you for your update. If you can, if you haven't already, respond to the invites, and if you can't make it to the earlier morning, the beach cleanup, I know that the special populations, the fashion show starts a little bit later in the day. I think it's 2 p.m., wasn't it?
No, actually so the cleanup obviously is from 9 to 12. The fashion show is from 10:30 to 1.
Oh, 10:30. Never mind. This is sorry. Someone else had their hand up. Oh, member.
So Mr. Hayden, Councilmember Hayden, has sent me contacts to spread awareness about the FLC project. So I've contacted News Press, Breeze, Fox 1, and Link, and had trouble contacting NBC too. But the Breeze has already said that they're posting our poster on social media. So I'll get back to you with, send me emails or posting.
Awesome. Thank you for your update. Member Burnett?
As I talked about last meeting, I just kind of wanted to show that how it has worked and how I followed through with it. I have reached out to different organizations within my school. I personally serve as secretary of the environmental club, so I've added it to our agenda, and I worked with our other officers to make it part of what we're doing. So we are challenging all of our environmental club students and members to go out into their community. We're going to have our own environmental club cleanup, but they were encouraging them to go into their homes and into their neighborhoods and clean up as well. So we're very excited that we're going to be branching out within Norfolk Myers High School and doing things like that. So we'll be seeing some more posts on Instagram coming soon.
Awesome. Thank you very much. All right. As a reminder, the deadline to submit all the materials to Ms. Rickland is going to be April 5th. Sorry, not the deadline for Ms. Ms. Grayland. The final deadline is April 15th. Ms. Grayland's deadline is, I believe, April 6th, was it?
April 4th, that
April
Monday.
4th. Sorry about that. April 4th. And member McMonagle Hall had volunteered to do the slideshow, which you'll have access to all the pictures after the cleanup day. And the essay was, member Osinski volunteered to take that up. So those will be getting done after the cleanup day, obviously. And as another reminder, if you haven't responded to the invites, which I've said before, I'm a victim of also, please do so. Literally, once we get out of the meeting, guys, go on your phone, accept and decline. I figure all of you will know what kind of what's going on in your schedule by now. We're approaching the date, so please do so we can get an understanding of who's going to be where and when. Thank you, guys. Moving along, we have item 10C, Joint Council Meeting Continued Discussion. I will now open the floor for any member discussion. Alright, as my update, I began working on the email with the tentative agenda for the joint council meeting. I just basically took everything that we voted on last time and I've put it in the email. And I'm kind of just, again, cleaning that up as well. And then March 30th was chosen as our joint council meeting date. You guys should have received an invite in your Outlook. I believe it was yesterday or this morning. So along with the other invites, just try to get it on your schedule. This is one of the events that I would say every member should try to be at. I know we just talked about responsibility and holding each other accountable, and this is kind of my way of doing so. I'm a very busy person myself. I'm a senior in high school. I'm drowning in schoolwork as well. I'm sure all of you are. And I'm finding a way to put it on my schedule and make time for it because this is something I made a commitment for. I'm not up here all the time just because I want to be. Some days I'm having really bad days, and this is the last place I want to be because I'd rather be in bed, honestly. And I'm still trying to be here every day for everyone. And my text messages, my emails to you guys, those are my reminders. That's me showing that I care for you guys, and I care for this council a lot. I really want us to succeed, guys, and I truly think that a lot of the juniors on this board could benefit from the meeting, especially anybody who would be interested in taking up a vice chair or chair position next year, and even just gaining leadership experience. I think that for me, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to learn more about my city and kind of where things are going, and finding out what the people who are up here for city council think about how they want people to look. It's going to be very beneficial to everyone, and I would strongly suggest everybody try their best to make it there. Is there any other member discussion? Ms. Grayden.
Thank you, Chair Young. If we could, I know that, like I said, she just said that the email just went out on Thursday, which I did see. Couple key things, if we can at least get a show of hands, and it is very important, very, very important that in the next week or so that you accept or decline, because you have to remember, it's going to happen in the dais. So not only are we going to have city council up there, but our city clerk and facilities is going to have to set up tables and chairs down here. So we need to let them know in advance so that they can put in their work orders to know how many people are coming and how many tables we need. So please, 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 I stress enough, next week, week and a half at the very latest, accept or decline the invite.
Thank you, Ms. Grayden. Are there any other member or advisor updates?
Sure.
Yeah.
Just to add on a little bit to that, council did approve the meeting. You also have full support from us. We all plan to be there that night, so they are already making that commitment. I expect the same from this group as well. I think you'll probably see staff maybe do a 10-minute presentation on the three main topics and how that will fit into what the city will look like 20 years from now. I would look to you if you're living in the city then. So they're really going to gear it towards your interests. You might want to decide who is asking what questions so that you're not overlapping. I think that can probably be done through email.
Sure.
Email to Ms. Grayland, and council will respond to your questions after the staff presentation, and it will be conducted reach out to the chairs of our various committees to see if they want to come and talk for any public input about what they do. They're important. They play an important role, as does yours, making recommendations to staff and the council. So we're really trying to put together a program that will be very informative to you. So again, I hope that you'll all be able to be there. It's typically would be an off day for council. So again, we are making a commitment to use that day to be with you. So that's all.
Thank you, Mr. David. Building upon that, I think that it would be more beneficial to assign questions or potentially do like a volunteer system for the questions. I think it's going to be too hard to figure out right now, but I think that there's a way to do it through Word or like a poll sort of. But who would be interested in what I'd like to figure out? Our three topics are the youth needs, the healthcare, and then the preservation of Cape Coral history. I know that Member McMillan said that she wanted to do the future of Cape Coral. She had a lot to say about that. So I'll put her name down for that. For show of hands, can I get youth needs who would be interested in asking questions or presenting a comment? All right, and then
Chair Young, if I'm so sorry, if I may stop you, I think there's a little confusion on what the three topics were. Based on the notes from the last particular meeting, it should be the three main topics are youth needs, and underneath that category is mental health and future of education. The next topic was environment, which is environmental conservation and pollution. And then the last main topic was future growth plans, which had to deal with the traffic, Burnt Store Road development, and other large projects and healthcare.
okay, sorry about that.
That's okay.
That was kind of a messy thing. Okay, so I will put for now rumor and Zadwitz down for youth needs. And then for environmental concerns, I will put Member McMillan. Is there anybody else who's interested? McMillan will. Alrighty. And then is there anybody interested in future plans?
Wait, which one did you put me down for? It should have been,
You want future plans?
yeah.
Okay.
What were there some categories?
Youth needs, environmental concerns, and future plans.
Yeah, future plans.
Future plans.
Chair,
Mm-hmm.
I would suggest that while you have somebody assigned to start off the questioning, that you leave it wide open and everyone can, at that point, once you get, so you're absolutely certain that you're going to have a member addressing a question within each area. But after that, it could be a free-flowing discussion just by getting raising your hand and getting the attention of the mayor, and he will call on you and you can ask a question or respond to any issues that they raise. So it's not just limited to only the people we're picking. We're picking people so we make sure we have somebody who's thinking about each area, but we're not limiting to just those folks.
Okay, I understand.
So it's a more fruitful interaction with the city council.
Thank you. Okay, so building on that, is there anybody who'd like to be, I guess, the person who starts off the questions for youth needs out of Brunel, Reaver, and Zadwitz? Member Brunel? Alright, and then Member McMillan, I'll start you off for future plans. And then is there anybody who'd like to volunteer to start with the environmental concerns? Member McMillan? Alright, great guys. Thank you for participating.
Chair, if you don't mind, we had set out, when we started this original discussion, we had a list of questions prepared. Is that compiled somewhere in our previous meeting agenda minutes, somewhere that I can still find on Outlook?
I believe it is. I think it's from 2 meetings back. It should be on
Right, the 11th. I know I had handed out a spreadsheet to everybody with the questions. I I could resend that out again with the questions and answers.
That'd be really helpful.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there any other member input? Okay, so to recap, March 30th is going to be the date of the joint council meeting. Please, if you have a pencil and paper right now, write yourself reminders to respond to the invite on Outlook. Ideally, right when you get out of the meeting, or you get in your car, turn it on. That'd be great, guys. And then I will be finishing up the tentative agenda, and then I'll share a copy of that with you guys as well, so you can see what I put on there, and then I'll get that sent out. All right? Okay. Moving along, we have item 10D, junior project continued discussion. This is a continued discussion from the last meeting, and I will now open the floor for any discussion. Member Reaper.
So along with the gala art submissions, I also sent all the high school art teachers and choral flyer of our mural projects. So those should be in the school possibly anytime now.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And then the other thing I wanted to address is that March 12th is our deadline for submissions for that. So something to take into account is that if we are not getting enough submissions by March 12th, we're going to have to change the poster again, get it reapproved, and then repost it again. And that would go into resending out all the emails that Member Reaper has kindly sent out for us. So to me, that just seems like a waste of our time as a council to have to keep redoing that, a waste of Jamie's time, who is kindly doing that for us also. So my question for you all, or my task, more say, would be to find 3 people in the grocery store, on the street, something in the park, 3 people you know, kids, to submit something. It could be your little brother, your sister, but we have to have 5 pieces, and the issue is that we only have 3 right now. We have to have 5 so that way we can have the 3 main ones and then 2 backups. That was told to the council a while back, probably 3 meetings ago. We all knew this. So I ask you guys to do things in hopes that you will. And this is genuinely something that I really need you guys to do, because in order to change that date again, you have to go through so many processes. And like I said, it's just a waste of our time at that point. It's been stated before, you guys all were appointed to these seats. I was appointed to this seat, and we all have responsibilities. I know we're all busy, but you can't sit up here and want the title of being on this council and not do the work. I do expect that everybody is doing their part, because we have to work together to get things done. And I know that you guys are all responsible individuals, but please write yourself the reminders and just try to remember to push this out, because we've changed the date already, I think 2 times now. And I really don't want to have to sit here at the next meeting and change it again, because like I stated, it's just going to be a waste of time at the end of the day. We have other projects that are, I wouldn't say of more importance, but are of more urgency that we could be working on and spending more time on. But instead we have to continue to use Jamie and Member Reamer's time to resend emails and change dates, and I'd like to not have to do that again. Is there any other member update?
Chair, real quick, if anybody has any free time tonight to help you along, the 4 March Art Walk is featuring high school art tonight. So there'll be 60 to 70 high school groups there. So it might be a really good opportunity for some good face-to-face to possibly get some art submissions. I think it starts at 5:30 or 6 tonight. So it's an idea if anybody's got some free time.
Thank you, Mr. Hayden. With that being said, I would highly suggest that anybody who could try to do that, because that's quite literally the perfect golden opportunity for us to promote this. Not only promote the junior project, but our spring gala. It would be a really good opportunity for you guys. Right? Is there any other member discussion? All right. Moving forward, we have item Attendee, senior project continued discussion. This is a continued discussion from the last meeting, and I will now open the floor for any member updates or discussion. My update is I didn't quite have a full update. The only thing that I was really concerned about for the senior project was getting an update on the birdhouses, which Ms. Grigland has gotten us a date. I did want to say that I really like the idea that we would be including the birdhouses in the raffle. I think that it's a really personal touch, and it pulls on the heartstrings a little bit. I like it. And then the only other thing for the senior project that I think needs to be discussed is just a reminder to respond to the invite for the fashion show as soon as you guys can, because the senior project is working with Special Pops, so that goes hand in hand with that. We haven't really done many face-to-face events with them this year. I know that we tried to use the fashion show as one of them, which it does. So I would like to have at least a few members there if we can, since we did commit to it. So please respond to those invites so we can have an update on who is planning to go where and when. Any other member discussion? All right. Moving forward, we have item 10F, the Love Blocks project continued discussion. This is a continued discussion from the last meeting. I will now open the floor for any member updates or discussion.
Chair, I haven't called the engineer to see where he is with it, but he did commit to do it, so it's just a matter of, they're all engineers swamped with all the construction going on, but I'm sure he'll be able to get to it and get us a sealed set of plans so we can go ahead and permit it.
Perfect.
So, but I haven't followed up on it either, so I will get communication with him before our next meeting.
Thank you so much. Is there any other member update? Member Reamer?
And I wanted to ask Ms. Grigland if you had an update on the fundraising capabilities that we have.
So yes, that's right. I was going to say it last meeting, but we didn't have a meeting. You caught me off guard. So yes, the good thing is we are able to fundraise. We did check against the ordinance that was actually recently adopted, and there is a provision in there that as long as City Council approved it, which Councilmember Hayden has already announced it at a City Council meeting, we are free to fundraise as we see fit.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Member Reamer?
So then what I'd like to ask the council here is if we would like to come up with an idea that I might be able to present to Mr. Creed at JC Park, that we can attend and fundraise and create another event. Anyone who would be interested?
Before that, I did want to let you guys know that I reached out to Todd with special events. I know it's been long awaited. I haven't gotten a response from him yet, but I did email him yesterday, I think it was. So hopefully I'll be receiving a response soon. My email basically, I just recapped the Love Blocks project, kind of what it was, where it was located, what the actual structure is, and then I just said that we were looking for an opportunity where we could potentially set up a booth or sell food at a movie night or any other event that he sees fit. I did check the Parks and Recreation and the special events calendar. There's a number of events coming up within the next month, I would say. There's about 3. So hopefully he'll get back to me with an update on something we can do. But building on Member Reamer's update, I think it is a good idea to have something else we can fundraise with. I know I previously talked about the idea of a car wash. I know that I've seen many people do them. And we could, I think it's relatively inexpensive to make one happen. So if you guys like that idea, I can write it down. Member Bernal?
I love the ideas that have been presented. I wanted to throw something else into the mix. I know within student government, we recently adopted something through our Red Knight Foundation at Myers High School, and we did sponsor a month. So basically you have a month of days. You can do it virtually, which is really helpful because you can say, hey grandma, do you want to sponsor a day? And it doesn't matter where people come from, you can band together and get sponsorships. But basically, you have like days 1 through 30 or however many, whatever you're doing sponsor month. And each day is worth however many days. So if it's day 1, of a month, then it's $1. And at the very end, you can take sponsorships. And as it fills up, you can take sponsorships regardless of the day. You can buy multiple days. So if March 15th has already been bought, you can buy it once again. But we have implemented this very recently within our student government. It's been very, very effective. We've raised a lot of money, and it's going to help all of our events and all of our community service projects. It was just very effective, and I felt that it was a nice resource, and it was surprisingly effective. And kids got really involved. Kids got kind of competitive because we made it a competition. I realized we can't really do that here, but we did it between classes. So if maybe you would be interested in something like that, I do think that virtual options are viable and really helpful if we want to ask for support from different members of our group in our community. My only concern with the car wash is that we tried to do a car wash one time, and it did prove to be a little bit more expensive than we thought. And it just, I don't know, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth every time I kind of hear about it. But I would be really interested in trying to do it well and do it effectively. I just am just a little apprehensive, a little hesitant to move forward with a car wash after kind of that debacle. But I think that, any type of fundraiser I would really support.
Thank you, Member Brunel. I actually have a question. I like the idea of a sponsorship month, what did you call it?
We called it Sponsor Month.
Oh, sponsor month. Pretty cool. The only question I had was, I know that we tried to maybe look at setting up a GoFundMe, and the concern was that for city records and there's only one credit card or something like that. I'm not good about the money stuff, but something about that. What way did you collect funds for it?
So I can definitely look into the official company. I know I have it somewhere in my phone, but I don't want to dig out my phone right now. But there is an online website that you can do it through, and it's official, so you can use your credit card to just submit money online. It was just through our Red Knight Foundation website. We put a little link to it on there. That's how students had access to it. But I can definitely share. That is a very good point. I wasn't sure if with what Ms. Grigland had just said about what we can use and what we can't. So I can send you the link to the website, and we can use it if we are allowed. But
Okay. Yeah, so just to clarify, obviously, like I had kind of explained before, so for example, the ticket link that we use for the gala, it's merely a link that all I have access to is to see the account of how many people are purchasing tickets so that I can print out the spreadsheet at the end. But I don't even see transactions of money or anything of that nature. It's all done at the very, very end. Once they take their fees or whatever out of it, then I get sent one lump check to the city of Cape Coral, and it goes directly into your account. So that's all we need is, for auditing purposes, if we would ever get audited, we have to have a trail of what event did we start, what link did we use, where did the funds go, and so forth. So the key thing is just the trail. So yes, if it is a link of that nature where all we need to do is give me a contact person and set it up, absolutely, I can certainly work on that. But it has to be something of that nature where there is no exchange of monies whatsoever until the very end.
Okay. So remember now, if you could send that link over to Ms. Griffin when you get a chance, so she could look into that for us. Is there any other member update or volunteer a fundraising opportunity for us? All right.
Madam Chair, before you leave that, do we have an estimated cost for the level up?
No, I was waiting on the engineer report to talk with the top building.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah.
You need one, but I was thinking, is it in the vicinity of hundreds, thousands?
I'm really not sure. He said you really need the engineering report to,
Figure out what's going to be.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Could be.
It's on you.
Yeah, Mr. Zerkowitz, if you could, earlier, before the meeting, if you could send me any information you have so I can get an estimate.
Yeah, I will.
Thank you.
All right. With that being said, I'd like everyone to to try and brainstorm. I will send out a text reminder probably sometime in the middle of next week, reminding you all that I would like at least 2 fundraising ideas per person. I'm not really asking, I'm kind of telling you guys because this is something we really need to do. And I think your friend Google could help everyone out. Please just go on Google, Pinterest, something. If it comes down to it, I will suggest a lemonade stand for us. And I'll make you all wear blue hats. I don't think you want that.
But I have a question, Connie, maybe you can answer. Have we ever, at the gala, have we ever offered up any fundraising opportunities there, like silent auction items?
No, at all, oops, sorry.
Oh, 50/50.
Yeah, at all of our previous galas, we have just talked about it, but we have not indulged or talked about fundraising. Yeah.
So if silent auction baskets were, if you each put together baskets from each of your schools with representation, whatever it might be a way to raise some quick money that night, if all this stuff's coming up. So something to think about.
Absolutely.
Most events these days, galas, whatever, include these silent auction items. So.
I actually really like that idea. I think it could be really cool to have a basket sort of for each school represented. For example, if we did like a North Myers basket, what I'd include is like some merch and then little like gag gifts that kind of go along with our representation and who we are as a school, and obviously something about Knights in there because that's our mascot. I think it could be really cute for each individual school to try and make a little basket. So I'm going to write it down, and I think it could be considered as a good option. Is there any other member update? Alright. So with that being said, I expect that everyone update me as needed. Remember to check on those fundraising ideas. And then next week, hopefully, we will have an update from Mr. Mazurkowitz about paint engineering. Next on the agenda is item 11, next meeting agenda topics. Members, are there any other topics to consider? Okay, I'm going to say to include business items 10A, 10B, 10C, 10D, E, and F. Can I have a motion to add 10 business items 10A through 10F to the next meeting agenda? Member Brunel?
I move to adopt business items, or 10A through 10F to the next meeting agenda.
Could I have a second? Member Michael? I second that motion. Member Brunel made the motion and Member Michael made the second. We will now take a voice poll vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to item 12, reports. I will now open the floor for any reports from youth council members. If any member is going to speak, state their name first. Before I read what's on my little paper, I did want to say that we had our quarterly report presentation. It was right before our last meeting that got canceled. I just want to thank everybody who came out to that. I really appreciate it. I think that we made a really good impression on the council. And I can speak for everyone who was there. We were goofing around at the beginning of it. We were all just having fun, laughing, and talking. And I honestly think that was like a really good opportunity for me to get to know a few of you a little better, see your personality a little more. Sometimes it's kind of hard up here to, I guess, look at people like they're friends, because I haven't really met you guys that are friends yet. And that's what I'm hoping we get out of some of these events that we're doing in the future. I really want this group to be close, especially the juniors. I really think it's beneficial when the group knows each other and feels comfortable to contact each other. And it can be useful in a sense if you feel like something is too much of a workload, you can ask your buddy who's on the council, say, hey, could you help me out with this? As long as it doesn't make a ton of obviously. But honestly, my goal by the end of the year for everyone is that this group gets a little bit closer, because you all are amazing people, motivated, amazing people, and I think that the closer we get as a council, the more productive we can be. So thank you guys again. I did want to announce that the City of Cape Coral Youth Council is accepting applications Applications are due no later than 4:30 p.m. on Friday, March 18, 2022. The application can be obtained under the City Clerk's office, the City Clerk's Department on capecoral.gov, or staff has extra copies that may be obtained at the conclusion of the meeting. Are there any other member reports? Member Burnett?
So I simply wanted to agree with you. I really found this group to be very rewarding, and I love getting to know you guys. Something that I started within my student government was I too kind of felt like there was this business relationship, but I wanted to get to know the members of my class a little bit better, so we started doing coffee and contemplation. We kind of took it from Stranger Things when he says mornings are for coffee and contemplation, but at the end of the week we would go to Starbucks and we wouldn't really talk about student government things. We tried to get to know each other as just people and classmates and peers and friends. And so I found that was really useful. I'd love to kind of maybe start something like that with you guys. I think that would be really valuable. But so I really agree with you. I think that that's really valuable. But something again, I just kind of want to completely switch topics and talk to you once again about the Autism Walk. So you guys know that we have an Autism Walk at Sophomores High School on April 9th at 9:30 a.m. It's open to the community. I'd just like to encourage you to keep branching out and as representatives of your school kind of extend your voice to that topic and tell your peers about that. It's really amazing. We had the amazing opportunity of moving it from Naples to here, our home in Fort Myers, so I think that would be really great if I could see some of you guys there, your family, your friends. It's open to everybody, so your little kid brothers and sisters can come too. But so we're going to have sensory stations and informational speakers. It's going to be amazing. It's just going to be about inclusion within our districts and our communities. So that'd be really amazing if you guys could reach out. I'd be interested if Member McMillan, I'd love to reach out to talk to you about maybe making an advertisement within your school paper or something. Perhaps after the meeting, I'd love to talk to you about that. If anyone else is involved in like their school newspaper or any other means of getting information out to the public, I'd love to work with you guys to maybe put together an ad for the school news or send you a video with some information, because I'd love to just reach out to somebody about that. But I'm going to stop talking because I talk a lot about this, but it's something I'm really passionate about, and it's an amazing opportunity. We're going to be really pushing that forward as we get closer. So just April 9th, 9:30 a.m. From my high school track, be there. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Burnett. Are there any other member updates? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 13, reports of the liaison and staff. Are there any reports of the council liaison, advisors, or staff? Ms. Goodman. Ms. Pinzer, please.
You want me to go? I was just going to, I was at the meeting when you folks made your presentation. I want you to know the impact you have. I'm sitting in the back where I always sit, and the response from the people around me were amazed. I mean, they just couldn't, they were very impressed with your presentation. They were very impressed with the amount of work you're doing for the city. And you left everybody with a really good feeling. So it was well done, and it's worth the time that it'll make that pitch every quarter. And if you haven't been part of it, you need to be part of it. It's a learning experience to get up on TV and make a presentation. Not everyone gets to do it. So very well done. Congratulations.
Thank you. Ms. Gregor?
Thank you, Chair Young. So once again, I just wanted to let you guys know that I did stumble upon a scholarship that would, that the seniors obviously could partake in. I'm sure you guys have heard the Do the Right Thing program. Them, as well as the Fraternal Order of Police Lodge 33, is handing out actually 6 scholarships. Like I said, basically all you need to be is a senior, the grade point average 2.5 or better, and then include a resume with it. And if you see the deadline on the paper that was part of your backup, the deadline is April the 29th. Okay. And then the only other thing that I did want to add, I know some of our current members may have not met them, but we have talked about him quite frequently, Councilmember Rick Williams. I actually did get a chance to talk to him the other day, and he did want to thank us graciously for the plaque I know we wanted to try to present it to him when he was currently here, but due to circumstances, that was just not something possible. But he did receive it. He was very thankful for it, and he's hoping to get a group picture. So maybe next week, or I'm sorry, whenever we have our next council meeting, if people want to come 10 minutes earlier, maybe we can just take a group shot and we can send that off to him. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Ms. Cooper. Are there any other reports? Next is time and place of future meetings. The next meeting of the Cape Coral Youth Council is scheduled for Friday, March 11th, 2022 at 3 p.m. in council chambers. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Member Burnell?
I motion to adjourn the meeting.
Can I have a second? Member Zadrowitz?
I second the motion.
Burnell made the motion and Zadrowitz made the second. We will now take a voice poll vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Sorry. What am I supposed to say at the end of that?
We're adjourned.
Oh, we're adjourned.
I got that.